Hey everyone! Today we're going to dive into a fantastic short story called A Shot in the Dark. It's this brilliant little cautionary tale about what happens when you think you know it all, especially when there's a lot on the line. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so before we start, I want you to imagine something. You're in a situation where you meet a total stranger who desperately needs your help, but their story, it just sounds a little fishy. You've only got two little tidbits of information to figure out if they're lying, and here's the kicker. Your decision could either make or break a massive opportunity for you. So what do? Let's see how our main character handles this exact problem.
All right, so our story kicks off with a journey. But this isn't just any old train ride. Nope, this trip is being powered by really intense motivation.
And that motivation, that driving force, is ambition. Honestly, the entire story really hinges on this one powerful feeling. It's that deep desire to succeed, to climb that social and political ladder. And our main character, he is absolutely consumed by it.
So, let's meet our guy, Philip Sletherby. He's on his way to meet the incredibly powerful and influential Mrs. Saltpanjago. His mission, should he choose to accept it, is simple but absolutely critical. He has to impress her, get her on his side, and hopefully lock down her support for an upcoming election. For Sletherby, pretty much everything is riding on this one meeting.
So just as Sletherby is in his head, practicing his witty remarks and his grand entrance, his perfectly planned trip gets completely derailed by a very frantic and very desperate stranger.
A young man just bursts into his train compartment, and he is in an absolute panic. He says his name is Bari, and then he drops a bombshell. He claims he's the son of the exact woman Sletherby is on his way to meet, Mrs. Saltpanjago, and apparently he's in some major trouble.
So here's the story Birdie lays out. He says 1, he's Mrs. Jago's son. 2, he's somehow lost his wallet and is totally stranded. And 3, he just needs a small loan, £3 to tie him over for the weekend. Seems pretty straightforward, but to our guy Sletherby, who's always calculating, this sounds a little too convenient, don't you think? Now see, Sletherby really thinks of himself as a sharp, observant guy. So instead of just taking the kid at his word, he decides to play detective. He's going to test Birdie's story with a couple of what he thinks are very clever questions.
First up, he asks about the family crest. Birdie, without missing a beat, says it's a greyhound. But Sletherby just kind of smiles to himself. See, he's done his homework, and he's sure the Saltpanjago crest is a demi-lion. In his mind, that's strike one for Birdie.
Okay, next question. Sletherby asks for a description of his mother. Birdie says she has dark hair, and for Sletherby, this is the final nail in the coffin. He's seen photos of Mrs. Jago, and he is positive she's a blonde. So in his mind, that's strike 2. The kid is out.
So with two pieces of solid evidence that fly right in the face of Birdie's story, Sletherby feels like he has all the proof he needs. He is ready to deliver his verdict.
You can just imagine the gears turning in Sletherby's head. The case is closed. This kid's story is full of holes. He's not Mrs. Jago's son. He's obviously just a common con artist. And Sletherby, with his brilliant mind, has seen right through the whole act.
And so, feeling incredibly smug and satisfied with himself, Sletherby refuses to lend Birdie the £3. He watches the young man leave, totally confident that he has skillfully dodged a scam and, more importantly, proven himself to be a fantastic judge of character.
But this is where the story takes a huge, ironic twist. Sletherby's carefully built confidence is about to come crashing down hard.
So Sletherby gets to the station, and he's met by Mrs. Jago's car. He is feeling on top of the world, probably already rehearsing the clever story he's going to tell Mrs. Jago about how he outsmarted a scammer on the train.
As they're driving, Sletherby notices the family crest on the car, and it's a greyhound. Weird. He casually mentions to the driver that he thought the crest was a demi-lion. Then the driver says something that makes his blood run cold. He mentions that Mrs. Jago just recently dyed her blonde hair dark.
Reeling from this, Sletherby is probably scrambling, trying to find some solid ground. He asks about the crest, hoping he wasn't wrong about that too, but the driver's response is the final blow. Oh, the demi-lion? Yeah, that was the old one. She's using the greyhound crest now.
And in that one single moment, the horrifying truth just dawns on him. Birdie was telling the complete and honest truth. The two facts that Sletherby had built his entire smug verdict on were, well, they were simply out of date. He hadn't been clever at all. He had just been ignorant.
So what's the aftermath of this complete and utter disaster of a miscalculation?
What's the price Sletherby has to pay for being so proud and so sure of himself?
This one word just perfectly sums up Sletherby's entire state of mind. Chagrined. He is completely, utterly humiliated and distressed. I mean, he was trying so hard to impress Mrs. Jago, and instead he's just insulted her son and basically announced that he's a pompous fool before he even walked through the door.
This story is just a masterclass in the dangers of being too proud of how smart you think you are. It's a huge reminder that having a little bit of knowledge can be a really dangerous thing, especially when we're so eager to prove ourselves right. The irony is just perfect. In trying to look clever, Sletherby made himself look like the biggest fool imaginable to the one person whose opinion actually mattered to him.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Let's be honest. We've all had moments where we were maybe a little too sure of ourselves, a little too quick to judge someone or something. So when has your own shot in the dark totally missed the mark? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.